Okay. Hey, everybody. Let me take a moment to introduce myself for those who may not know who I am. My name is Audria Richmond, and I am a marketing and brand strategist. I work directly with my clients to teach them how to build an uncloned brand so they can become the obvious choice in their industry. All right. So if you all can hear me, just put yes in the chat. I am live on Instagram here. I'm also live on YouTube. All right. This is a unscheduled live and unplanned live. Typically I'm just like hanging out, chilling on Saturdays and Sundays, but I wanted to come live today and have this conversation because I feel like a lot of people I think a lot of people underestimate the power of having vision, right? And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. If you all have any questions, make sure you go ahead and put it in the chat. If you're on YouTube, put it in the comments. And then if you're here on Instagram, make sure you put your question either in the Q&A box. And I'm gonna try my best to go back and reference it as we get closer to that. But today I want to talk about vision. Okay. And more so strategic vision, having strategic vision and a strategic plan for your brand, right? I work with a lot of entrepreneurs who want to scale their business to 6, 7, 8 figures. And I can be honest with you all and say that, like, when I made my first 6 figures, I did not have a 2-3 year plan. Hell, I didn't even know what I was doing the following week or, within 30 days. So if you're thinking to yourself like, okay, I suck as a business owner if I don't have a vision, that's not what this live stream is about. This live stream is about really understanding the importance of the role of having vision, right? I think a lot of the times when we are running our businesses, because we're in our day-to-day running the business, we don't really understand how not having a vision, how it plays a huge role in our business. So that's what I want to talk to you all today about. And the reason I'm having this conversation is because I just finished mine. Okay. So my vivid vision is 17 pages. All right. Can y'all see that? 17 pages. Okay. 17 pages. And it got all type of stuff in here. Okay. So some of the things we cover in here is like, what is UnCloned? What do we stand for? Inside of our plan, we talk about our identity and why we exist as a company. Another thing that we cover in our vivid vision is our core identity, like what makes us as an organization, and like how do we work with clients. And then we have like our product suite, and then we break down each product in our product suite. We also have our core values listed in here. So our core values for our organization. The next thing we have in here is how we want to serve our customers and clients from a customer service perspective. Another thing we have in here is how do we plan to train team. So if you have team or not, this is going to teach you like how to develop, basically in here. Let me just say this. You got to know where you heading. Okay. Because when you know where you're heading, you know what you need. A lot of people don't know where they need because they don't know where they're heading. And a lot of the times we don't think about creating a vision or dreaming or allowing ourselves to dream because we're so caught up in the day to day, right? And the reason it's probably hard for you to hire or retain is because you are all over the place. And I'll be honest and say that, like, at one point, I thought I was very clear about what we're going to do as a company. And then like October of last year, I blew up my business. And what I mean by that is I feel like last year I took like 9 months off to really just spend time with myself, get to know myself. And as a result, it gave me a lot of clarity. Babe, can you bring me some water? And so that's what I want to talk about today, like inside of here. So anyway, a big part of our organization is we need people, right? If you've seen our expo setup that we just did when we did the vending, it was very clear that we need a lot of people. We need a lot of coaches. We need a lot of client facing people, and we need more people to create content for our organization. And so knowing that, right, just planning for the future, even though I may not need it today in this very, very first moment, the thing I know for sure is that when we have a plan, it makes it so much easier to know who do we need on our team, so on and so forth. Thank you. So that's why that is so important, right? Now, I do want to go over, so we talked about like training and team, right? Like how we plan to train and develop team. And you may not know what that is just yet, right? Sometimes depending on your business, you may not know like in the future, like how many more team members you're going to need, how much money you're going to need to spend, what your budget is, especially if you've never hired anyone. And I'm not talking about like hiring like a graphic designer or a photographer or somebody on Fiverr. I feel like that's pretty easy and self-explanatory. But when you start talking about developing team where you are the leader and you have to lead people, baby, that puts things in a whole nother perspective that we don't get to learn as small business owners. When you go and get your LLC and you go and get your EIN number and all of that, they don't give you a starter kit. Okay. Like they don't give you a starter kit. They do not say, hey, here's the plan. Thank you for getting your LLC today. Here's your business plan or your business manual. They just make sure that you are compliant and you file your taxes. That's all they really care about. But they're not going to tell you how to stay in business, and they're not going to tell you how to keep your business from being closed. And this is why you see a lot of people shut down on their business so easy and so fast, because a lot of people don't even know where they're going. Okay. If I was to pull certain entrepreneurs to the side and say, hey, tell me your 2 to 3 year, 5 year plan, and I want to see it documented, no one can do that. Right? It's very rare that you can do that, especially at a small business level. Now, when we start talking about corporations and organizations that have, hundreds and thousands of employees, they have to have a plan. And the reason why having a plan and having a vision is so important is because it allows people to know the role that they should play in the journey, right? It's very hard for people to think about the role that they play in the journey if you're not even clear as the leader where you're heading. And I think a big part of that has to do with the fact that you need to own the role of being the CEO, right? I deal with a lot of entrepreneurs who do not accept that as their truth. And a lot of people treat their business like a side hustle. And it's very evident that that's what they're doing, because a lot of people have really good jobs independent of their businesses, which means they treat it like a side hustle, because their side business is not their main business. It's not their main thing. And so their main thing will never become the main thing because they don't treat it like a main thing, right? Like when you know that you're going to get a check every 2 weeks, or you're going to get a guaranteed salary, you're not taking that same level of dedication with your own business. And so you kind of tinker with your business on the side, and then you wonder, like, why is it not working for me? Why is it not growing for me? Why is it not going to the next level? And it's because you're not giving your business full attention in the development phase of what you need for your business, right? So that's one part of our Vivid Vision. We talk about training and team. I'm going to give you some resources here in a moment, okay? So training and team. Then there's a section in our training about, hopefully y'all can see this, but can y'all see this? Let me push this to the side. You can see here that we have our executive leadership team. So you see my name, CEO, Audria Richmond. Our COO is Calvin Richmond. And so you will begin to see, all of those different things. And this is not a business plan. Okay. We're talking about vision. Where are we going in the next 3 to 5 years as a company? How much money are we going to be making? What does team look like? What does infrastructure look like? What does scale look like? What does sales look like? All of that play a role in the vision, right? So we list out the team we're going to need for the next 3 to 5 years. We also have, let me keep going. We have a section in here called Global Reach and Activation Goals. So how do we plan to activate globally over the next, 3 to 5 years? Okay. The next thing is that we have in here is our marketing plan and our content strategy. How do we plan to create original content for our organization? And then what legacy looks like, right? As far as like the ongoing legacy we want to have for the company. So this is 17 pages, okay? 17 pages. And my book is a little dusty, but this is the book that taught me how to do it, okay? This book here is called Vivid Vision. If you have ChatGPT, I talked about this on one of my YouTube videos. Not YouTube videos, but one of our audio newsletter. I talked about how if you have ChatGPT and you use ChatGPT for a lot of your content, you can actually ask ChatGPT based on the Vivid Vision book by Cameron Hurl. How do I, can you write, what would be my 3 to 5 year vision, right? And if you've been given it enough data about the future, a lot of data about your plans and all of those things, then it will be able to spit out a plan. So I use that as a starting prompt, but it did take me several prompts to really nail it down, because as I was working through my vision and what I wanted to say and what I wanted it to be, I really had to kind of think about it in great detail. Okay. So just wanted to share that with you all. It's called Vivid Vision. It's a very easy read. Like you can read this in a weekend. It does not take you a long time, but the level of clarity that you're going to get when you have your vision is everything. Because when you get clear, I promise you everything else aligns, right? So I want to share with you all some things that I've been working on. So give me 1 second. I'll need to pull up my text messages so I can talk about this in great detail. So I showed you this book, right? Now, another book that I like is by Natalie Dawson. Okay. Now, I will say this before y'all go down the rabbit hole to go get this book. I love the book. I know a lot of people have a love-hate relationship for Grant Cardone. So they are a part of the Grant Cardone team. They run Cardone Ventures, her and her husband. But forget if you like them. They books fire. Okay. Look at my book. Highlighted. Okay. To the death. Okay. That's a good book. Okay. It's basically a book about how to develop and create high performance teams, right? How do you build a team that has high accountability and pay attention in your business, right? People who will come to work, do what you say, and you can either coach them up or coach them out of your organization. So I absolutely love this book. It's called Teamwork by Natalie Dawson. So if you can get past who she works with, you will definitely enjoy the book. This book is something I recommend to everybody that I work with privately. It's such a great book because it breaks down building a team at a very, very high level that really feels like, next level. All right. So these two resources really help. Another book I would recommend is called Traction. That's a good book. I really feel like that's not a team book. That's a leadership book. When I say it's not a team book, meaning if you're the CEO, it's really for your executive team. That book is designed to be for your executive team. So if you have an executive team, I recommend the Vivid Vision book, the Teamwork book, and then the other book that I recommend is Traction. There's obviously plenty of books, but if we're talking about creating your vision for your organization, then I totally recommend this book here, Vivid Vision. Okay. So anyway, I want to share with you all some things that I liked about this book. So I talked about this Vivid Vision book. So now let's get into what I like about this Teamwork book. Now in the Teamwork book, there's a section in the book where she talks about having different mission statements based on who's going to see it. And I like that because one of the things I always didn't like about creating like core values, mission statements and things like that, they always felt like, what do you call it? They always felt, it always felt weak. It never felt like it had enough diversity. And so when she talked about it in this book about having multiple ones, I really like that concept. So this is what we have. This is our mission statement. Okay. Our mission statement is we help small business owners build uncloned brands so they can become the obvious choice in their industry. So the mission statement should be one sentence. It should be super short. It should be very clear where we're heading and what we're doing. And it should be easily rememberable. Like your people on your team should be able to tell you what's the purpose of your organization. Why do we exist? Now, a lot of people may not get super clear on this because a lot of people be all over the damn place, right? You know, you want to do parties and you want to be, vending and you want to do this and you want to do that and you're doing all of these random things. But how do your activities and your marketing and your speaking, how does all of that play a role in the ultimate goal, right? So for instance, when we vended at the Atlanta Women's Expo, our goal is to get to 10,000 people who have taken the UnCloned brand assessment and know their UnCloned brand score by the end of 2025. So it made it crystal clear that, okay, when we go to this event, we already know our goal. We need to get 10,000 people to know where they stand with their brand by taking the UnCloned brand assessment. Okay, great. So if we know 10,000 people is in our vivid vision and it's in our plan, where are we heading, right? Like, okay, the 10,000 people. Well, how do we get the 10,000 people? Well, we can get the 10,000 people by vending. We can get the 10,000 people by activating. We can get to the 10,000 people through our content. We can get to the 10,000 people through our original content, the upcoming shows we have. We can get there by launching. We can get there by partnerships. You get what I'm saying? When you know the goal and when you know the plan, everything else becomes so much easier around what you should be focused on. Also, when you know where you're heading, it makes it very easy to decide on where you're going to be spending your money with. Like, who's going to be my coach? Who's going to be my consultant? Who's going to be the person I go to? Because if I know for a fact that our goal is 10,000 people by the end of 2025, and we want to hit 50,000 people by the end of 2028, right? We got to have a really solid plan on what that looks like. And this is why having your plan is so important. Now that I have this, right? Now that I have this, and now that we have our mission statement, I'm going to tell you some other things that we put in place. But now that I have this, it becomes so easy to recruit people for our team, right? So I could easily say, hey, I'm looking, for instance, we're about to hire 3 people, okay? The 3 people that we're about to hire is one, a certification and training assistant. The reason we're hiring that person is because I need a person to help me with training, and eventually the path for that person is to promote them ultimately to be a manager. Once we have our training manager that's a part of our organization, they will be able to do all the training for all of our coaches and all of our UnCloned experts. So that's the beauty of clarity, right? I wouldn't have that level of clarity if I didn't write the plan. Okay. Now, another person we're going to hire is a opportunity hour manager. As you all know, opportunity hour is one of our proprietary frameworks and systems that we teach that's all about pitching yourself 1 hour a day for various opportunities in the 5 categories that we talk about. Now, with us having our own dedicated opportunity manager, that person will be responsible for looking for speaking opportunities, looking for places for me to be interviewed on. So it's essentially like our own internal publicist. To a certain extent. It's just that typically when a publicist is working with clients, they have multiple clients. The beauty about the opportunity hour manager that we're going to hire is that their only job is to find opportunities for UnCloned, not UnCloned and Sally and Sarah and Keisha and John. Like, no, our opportunity hour manager will be for us. And so think about that. Every single day, we're going to have a dedicated person who pitch and look and search and create opportunities for our company 1 hour a day, every single day, right? Monday through Friday. So by us having our own dedicated person to do that, then we don't have to worry about, waiting on opportunities to come. We're creating them every single day with our opportunity hour manager. So that's the second person that we're going to hire. The third person we're going to hire, and this is more more client facing, we're going to be hiring our first UnCloned expert. This is a public facing public figure who has been trained and certified by our organization. And the purpose of when you see them on my social media channels and all of that stuff is to build up brand equity to multiply my energy, time, effort, right? One of the flaws that I have seen with personal brand driven companies is that the person who is the personal brand have a very hard time, I guess you could say, breaking themselves away from being able to multiply themselves. I love personal branding, okay? I literally wrote a book on it. However, building a personal brand is not scalable. If we're talking about everybody buying into your business because of you, right? And so one of the things that we want to be able to do is to be able to build a bench of experts who work within our organization, that represents our organization, who can go and present keynotes, can speak and vend and show up and be a personality for the organization. We are calling those people UnCloned experts. So we're going to hire our first UnCloned expert. We're going to hire an opportunity hour manager, and we're going to hire a certification and training assistant. Now, how do I even know that these are the people I need to hire and what they're going to do? All because of the vision. I'm telling you, when you sit down and allow yourself to dream, when you sit down and you allow yourself to imagine the future of your company, it makes it so much easier to know, how much money you need to make, who do you need to hire, where we're going, where we're heading, what does partnerships look like, what does strategic collaborations look like. Again, all of this comes from me having clarity around the vision. Okay, so there's that. Now, the next thing I want to share with you is I share with you our mission statement. So I'm gonna recap our mission statement really quickly. So like our mission statement is, we help small business owners build uncloned brands so they can become the obvious choice in the industry. Now, you will notice when I introduce myself, I always say, hey, my name is Audria Richmond. I'm a marketing and brand strategist. We work with our clients to help them build an uncloned brand so they can become the obvious choice in their industry. Boom. I already say that, but making it more corporate facing or more client facing, and giving a mission for everybody that work here at UnCloned, they understand the assignment. We exist as an organization because we help small business owners build uncloned brands so they can become the obvious choice in their industry. By us having that as a mission statement, anybody who's in our organization that's not helping us move towards that mission, they're out of alignment and they must be fired, right? And so you have to be clear around, first, I needed to be clear because I can't hold my team accountable if I'm not clear. I can't get mad at my team member if I didn't tell them what the vision was. I can't get mad at my team member if they're like, where the hell we're going? And every single day I'm like, I don't know. I guess we're going here today, right? Let me just say this. No one wants to be partnering with a leader who's lost. If you are a leader who cannot create a clear vision for your organization, it's just a matter of time before it's over. I'm telling you from experience. I'm telling you from working with clients. I'm telling you. And sometimes you also need to, this part here is so deep. You need to be able to create a vision. Okay. You need to be able to create a vision that's bigger than your capacity. Let me say that again. See, a lot of you all will not create the vision because you're asking yourself, well, who's gonna manage this vision? Who's going to do this and who's going to do that as a part of my vision? And one of the things you have to understand, you will never be able to build anything big if you limit everything to your capacity. Let me give you an example. I was limiting, for instance, I'll just use our mastermind because we closed it. And I think it's a great example for this thing that I'm saying. So when I had the UnCloned Mastermind, the most people that we can have in it at any given time was between 30 and 40 people. The most people we ever had at any given time in it was close to 30 people. Okay. Now, one thing that you need to understand about this truth is my capacity was 30 people. Audria's capacity. Okay. Audria Richmond's capacity was 30 people, right? So even if I wanted to scale and get more clients into this mastermind, it was going to be very difficult to scale what people joined for. They joined because they was going to have access to Audria Richmond. They signed up because they knew that they at any given time they could pull out their phone and just interact with me, chirp chirp, and they talking to me. But I realized that in order for me to grow UnCloned Media into a 10 million, even $100 million company, Audria Richmond can't not be a part of delivery at all. Does that make sense? Like I need to design a business model where Audria is not the face on everything, where Audria is not a part of every single program that we deliver. So what does that look like? Well, it looks like me making a hard decision and telling my mastermind last year that the mastermind was closing in 2025. It looked like me not accepting new clients into the mastermind because I knew that the mastermind was a bottleneck for me. My clients love it, but I was going to always be trapped and capped by the 30 people that could be in the mastermind. So what did I have to do? I closed the mastermind. I started making decisions around, okay, what does a new program look like? Do I even want a new program? And if we design this new program, how does delivery look like without me? So this is the first time I'm creating a program that is not designed around my capacity, that's not designed around me, is designed around our framework, which is the UnCloned brand framework. If you want to build an UnCloned brand, join the accelerator. It doesn't matter if I'm in it or not. It doesn't matter if I'm coaching in it or not. It doesn't matter if I show up to the calls or not. Because the reason you're going to join the accelerator is to build an UnCloned brand, not to be Audria's best friend, not to be able to have access to Audria Richmond. You're part of our organization. You're engaging with our organization. You're working with our organization because you want to build an UnCloned brand. So when I say you have to create a vision that is beyond your capacity, that's the only time you'll be able to activate your imagination. The reason why I couldn't think bigger for the mastermind, because I was thinking about my own personal capacity. And I personally didn't feel comfortable changing up my entire program and then tell my clients, y'all got to pay this rate, but I ain't going to be here to coach y'all. My clients would have been like, to hell with you, right? So I told them, like, look, when your contract is up, I'm going to honor your contract, but the mastermind is no more, because I'm in a season in my life, I will be 40 in 2026. So I'm making these different moves in my company. So by the time I get 45, 50, I am the owner of UnCloned Media, not an operator. I'm not in the company in the day-to-day operations and managing teams and all of those things. I'm very aware that there will be a president for UnCloned. I'm very aware that there will be other experts besides Audria Richmond that represents the UnCloned brand. I mean, I'm not going to put y'all all up in my plan, but the reason I'm sharing these things with you so you can understand that your vision, your plan, where you're heading should be bigger than you. It should be bigger than your capacity. This is why I had to stop working. Audria, catch yourself. I said, catch yourself. I had to catch myself. I found myself in coaching programs of people who were extremely successful. I'll say that. Extremely successful, but I don't want to be the bottleneck. I don't want to be showing up, in my late 40s, 50s, 60s coaching. I just don't. That ain't the vision that I see for myself. So if I don't want to do that, then that means I need to make changes that reflects that today. So by the time as I'm building on it, by the time I get to that age, I can say, oh, UnCloned Media is a multi-million-dollar enterprise, and it's an asset that I own inside of my organization, inside of my investment portfolios. I want to be able to separate, like, UnCloned Media is not my baby. I think that's one of the biggest things that we do as small business owner. So because we make everything about us and we make it so personal, it's very hard for us to look at this and say, oh, this is an asset. Right? This is an asset. So if this is an asset, how do I make the asset so valuable that it don't need me? And I think that when we talk about small business owners, we have to understand hiring. We have to understand how to employ people. We have to understand how to put people in place. So when we go and present our vision, we are clear, which makes other people who want to work for you like, yeah, you know where we're going for the next 3 years. And as people are reading your plan, they're able to look at your plan and say, oh, I can help with that. Okay. Oh, I can help with that too. Oh, okay. Oh, that's the culture here. I vibe with that. I think I want to be a part of that. Okay. Oh, sign me up. Sign me up. How can I help you make this a reality? I'm in alignment with the mission. I'm in alignment with the vision. I'm in alignment with the goals. I'm in alignment with the impact. How do I be a part of your organization if this is the plan? If you asking people to believe in you, if you're asking people to see you, if you're asking people to invest in you, if you're asking people to give you money, you need to have a plan, right? Again, no one wants to follow a person who is lost. This is not something that is optional. I feel like the thing that separate people who just out here to get a book and sell an ebook, those people don't need a vision, okay? They don't need a vision. If you're just on the internet to collect YouTube checks, if you're on the internet to just, create trends and trendy content or to sell ebooks, that's your goal. Like, you don't need a plan. You don't need a vision. But if you're building a brand and you're thinking about being a leader of your organization, you got to have a vision. Where are you taking your people? What's the mission? Where are we going? Where are we heading in the next 2 to 3 years? Right? That's what separates the amateurs from the pros. If you pull anybody who's made any significant amount of money, whether if you pull them to the side, I guarantee you they know where they're going in the next 3, 5, 10 years at the very least. Some people have plans for the next 50 years. You need to be thinking about, okay, what does my life look like? What does my business look like? Where does my brand look like when it's 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now? If you're not having that conversation now, you're already too damn late. And the reason that we created the UnCloned Brand Assessment and the reason we're doubling down on our curriculum, we're designing curriculum that's not about building an online business. We're designing curriculum so we can help our clients build a brand, build an asset that has equity, that's transferable, that's exitable. Okay? You cannot exit off of you going live on Instagram every single day talking about buy my ebook. You only gonna get so far. Is y'all hearing me? You only gonna get so far. Okay? And so this required me to stop studying certain people on the internet. This required me to start thinking about my business a little bit more differently. This required me to stop studying these people who are such advocates for solopreneurship. I'm building an enterprise. An enterprise don't have baby thinking. An enterprise has clear goals, clear outcomes, clear objectives. We exist for a reason. I want my brand to outlive the internet, right? Not only be on the internet. This is why you're seeing us activate offline. So anyway, I wanted to have this conversation because a lot of people are always asking me, like, what type of content should I create? What should I be posting? What should I be talking about? What does your vision say? What does your vision say? Your vision will tell you what type of content. Your vision will tell you the people you need to hire. Your vision will tell you what you need to activate on. Your vision will actually tell you what type of programs you should be investing in. As soon as I wrote this down, there are coaches and people that I want to work with that is not within the current circles I'm in. I'm building a business that can exist without me, not with me at the hem of everything, making it all about me and my little ego, right? This is why when you see me, you don't see me making it all about me. I'm always serving my clients at the highest level humanly possible. This is why you don't see me interacting with a lot of people in Atlanta. Why I don't be in certain circles? Because I'm not with the shit. There's so many scammers and people who are just full of crap in this city. I try my best to keep my distance. I don't give a rat's ass that I didn't get invited. I'll create my own stage. I don't care that I'm not a part of the in crowd or I'm not a part of your little crew. I don't care, right? because I know that God will bless clarity. Okay. I know God will bless clarity. And so as long as I'm clear, as long as my heart is pure, as long as I'm not taking advantage of people and manipulating people and running over people, my business will be blessed. I'm not even going to overthink and be like, oh, they didn't invite me. Oh, they never include me. Oh, I didn't get invited. I don't give a rat's ass. And this is another thing. This is something my homegirl told me. The reason, because somebody asked me, hey, I don't really see you at a lot of speaking events and stuff like that no more. You know why? Because I pay. You got to pay me. You got to pay me. You got to pay me. The season in which you saw me being plastered on everybody's flyer and Audria Richmond is going to speak in my conference and Audria Richmond is going to speak here and speak there and da, 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 da. That's because I was speaking for free. Now that I'm the author of 3 best-selling books, working on my 4th book, I've done some amazing things, right? The last thing you're going to do is milk my brain, milk my influence. You get paid and think you ain't going to pay me. What kind of rock you living under? Okay. So sis going to get paid. So the reason you only see me on my own platforms and my own things is because unless it comes with a check, you won't see me. Unless it's coming with a check, you won't see me. Another thing to mention too, I will say yes to a well-marketed event. But unfortunately, a lot of events are not well-marketed. So there's another little nugget for you. Okay. I do want to share a few more things with you really quick. So the second thing I wanted to share with you is, where do we see ourselves in the next 10 years as an organization, right? So we plan to build 1,000 uncloned brands by the next 10 years. So in the next 10 years, I want us to be able to say, we helped 1,000 small business owners legitimize their business, professionalize their business, so much so that they became the obvious choice in their industry, right? So that's the goal, right? Is to be able to build 1,000 uncloned brands. How will we do that? Through our accelerator. So we're working on a new accelerator. It's called the UnCloned Brand Accelerator. We thought about everybody at every price point. So we have a DIY version of this accelerator. We have a done with you version of this accelerator, and we have a one-on-one version of this accelerator. They all range from $2,500 all the way up to $60,000, depending on how you want to work with us. But we got some for everybody in between. But our goal as an organization is, how do we build 1,000 uncloned brands in the next decade? Okay. The next thing is revenue. Where do we see ourselves revenue wise? So I put on here that we will be a $10 million company by 2035. That's a 10-year goal. I definitely want to be a little bit more aggressive. So I did give us some time, but it would be nice to get that 10K in 3 years or 4 years. It's all depending on the clarity, the hiring, and how everything rolled together. But we did give ourselves about 10 years to be able to hit that milestone. And then people, right? So remember in this book, I told you about Natalie Dawson. She had this section in here where she talks about having a people statement. So like, what's your statement for your team members? Like, what's that statement? What's their mission? What are they working towards, right? So our statement for our people is, we're going to equip every uncloned team member with the education and opportunities to turn their ideas into wealth for themselves and their families. Let me say that again. If you work here at UnCloned Media, okay, if you work here at our organization, our goal is to equip you, okay, with the education and the opportunities to turn your ideas into wealth so you can create wealth for you and your family. So again, let me go over this again. Our mission statement is, we help small business owners build uncloned brands so they can become the obvious choice in their industry. Our goal is to build 1,000 uncloned brands in the next decade. $10 million business by 2035. People, we plan to equip every team member on our organization with education and opportunities for them to turn their ideas, into wealth for themselves and their families. Okay. Now, I do want to share our company core values. And again, if you all want the resources, Vivid Vision is a book. Okay. So Vivid Vision, take a screenshot. Okay. So Vivid Vision. And then the second book here is Teamwork, okay, by Natalie Dawson. And also another book that I don't have right here in front of me, but I think is just as good, is Traction, okay? So read the book Traction. Okay, now I do want to leave you with our core values. And your core values is meant to be the heartbeat of your company. You should be able to hire, fire, and reward from your core values as an organization. We have changed our core values so many times, and I'm finally in love with our current core values. So I'm going to share that with you, just so you all can kind of hear what our core values are. Now, one of the things that she recommends in the book is having something that's public facing, and then having core values within your company that you hire, fire, and reward from. So the core values that I'm going to share with you right now is our core values that we plan to hire, fire, and reward with. All right. So just keep that in mind as I'm sharing our core values. All right. So here's our core values. And I'm not going to get into like the why behind each core value. I'm just going to share. Okay. Okay. And please don't take my stuff. It took me, I didn't ChatGPT these core values. Okay. These are core values off of years and years and years of working with people, working with vendors, all of the things. So, and this is another thing about your core values. Your core values should be able to lead your team, your vendors, and your contractors. Let me say that again. Your core values should be so good that you can fire, hire, and reward with them. It should also be based on the team you have, the vendors you work with, and the contractors you work with. So everybody is utilizing these core values in order to be a part of that. Okay. All right. So number one core value that we have. We believe, think, and live uncloned. I said I wasn't going to tell y'all the why, but I am. Let me go ahead and tell you why. Because my brain is just like, tell them why. So let me tell you why this particular core value exists. So our first core value is we believe, think, and live uncloned. What made me come up with this core value is I was coaching one of our coaches in our programs, and this particular coach was constantly thinking cloned for a client, okay? That was constantly coming up with these traditional cloned ideas. And I asked her, like, hey, the ideas that you came up with, they're pretty traditional, they're pretty boring. Why aren't you thinking uncloned, right? And her thought process was, and what she shared with me was, well, the reason I wasn't thinking uncloned was because I didn't think the client could afford it. What? No. So let me make this a core value. We think uncloned and we live uncloned. Clients come to us because they want to become the obvious choice. They don't come to us because they want to be clones. They come to us because they want to stand out. They don't want to blend in. They want to be the obvious choice in their industry. And here I have a team member who is limiting the dope ideas that we could give a client because they are thinking within a restriction. So is that helpful? That's how we came up with that core value. And so the reason for that core value is so when we're coaching clients, do not have a limited mindset when you are coaching our clients. I need you to think beyond the parameters that maybe you have been given in other coaching programs or whatever. Because one thing that's unique about our organization is that I don't sell a lot of like swipe files and stuff. We give clients frameworks and templates that show them the process. We don't necessarily give people copy and paste, use this in your business type stuff. So I noticed that when we coach a lot of people, even if they worked in other people's coaching programs, we find ourselves having to get them to unlearn all the clone shit that they've learned elsewhere. Is that helpful, what I'm saying here? So we had to like, hey, you can't be thinking like a clone working for UnCloned. You know what I mean? So that's why the first one is one of our core values is because we believe, think, and live uncloned. Okay, so that's how we came up with the first one. The second one is we strive to do it right the first time with excellence. Okay, let me say it again. Our second core value is we strive to do it right the first time with excellence. This means double check your work. This means don't rush through your work. I still want you to meet the deadline, but this means do it with excellence. Don't be sloppy. Don't send me stuff that I need to edit the hell out of or go back and forth with, right? I need you to do it right the first time. This also applies to vendors, right? When we're working with vendors, if I notice with a vendor, we have to go back and forth with them, they're not our people, right? One of the people who come to mind who is really great at what they do is my best friend, April Beverly, and her organization. So whenever I hire April Beverly to write copy, I never have to send it back. I can probably count on one hand how many times I have to send it back to be re-edited or fixed or updated or whatever, right? That's my type of vendor. I don't want to work with a vendor where something that should take a week is now taking 3 weeks because your team is not good, right? We're going back and forth. Can you look at this? Can you look at that? It's too much. Also, if you work here as a team member and you send me something, big dog, the CEO, you send me something to review, you need to make sure you double check, you dotted out every I. There was intentionality, and what we're looking for is intentionality, not speed and like hurry up and getting it out, but like, are you doing it with excellence, right? Did you double check it? Did you double review it? Did you try to put any type of intentions into it? So that's our second core value. The third core value is also one of my personal core values. Okay, so you can also have one of your personal core values also be one of your company core values. So my next core value is we're on time and never late. Okay, we're on time and never late. I don't know what it is about us, and y'all know who I'm talking about. They call it CP time, colored people time. I don't know why we think it's cute to be late. I really, and some people pride themselves on it. And hopefully, I know I'm probably stepping on somebody's toe because it's so common that people don't give a rat's ass about time. That don't play over here. If one thing that was unique about our conference, when we did our conference in 2023, we hosted a conference called UnCloned Lunch Live. By the time I hit the stage, all of our attendees were there. Let me say that again. That is so rare, especially with events, right? Because people are so used to people showing up late, right? Like, for instance, I'm in a program right now with someone that I really respect their work. I really love what they do, but they're always late. Every time we have a call, an event or whatever, it's just like, they've made it so common that they think it's funny. So like they'll come on and be like, oh yeah, we were late. Oh, ha ha ha. We were 10 minutes late. Ha ha ha. Like, and I'm looking at my clock like, y'all must think y'all the only one that got shit going on. Like, why y'all playing with my time? And let me tell you why I'm a stickler about this. When my mother passed away, okay, I was already a stickler about my time before my mom passed away. But after my mom passed away, it was very evident to me that time will end. Time will expire. And there's going to come a time and day in your life where you're not going to wake up tomorrow, where you're not going to be able to do the thing you wanted to do yesterday, right? And so, or the thing you want to do tomorrow. Like, everybody has an expiration date. We don't know what that is. And so if I'm going to be utilizing my time, energy, and effort to show up, the least you could do is show up on time. So all of our calls start on time. I don't play that shit with my team being late or submitting things late or thinking it's cute to be fashionably late. And again, like I told you, this applies for your contractors, your vendors, and, for our team members. So I don't play that. So that's how we came up with the third core value, which is we're on time and never late. Do not send me anything late. It's one of the reasons why certain vendors we won't ever rehire, because they think it's cute to be late. It's not cute to be late. Okay. So that's number 3. Number 4 is we are self-starting and take initiative. Okay. We are self-starting and take initiatives. I don't need let me slow my brain down. I don't need team members that I have to babysit. Okay. I know I got team members I need to lead because I'm the leader. I know I got team members I need to train because that's what we're supposed to do as a company. But what I'm not going to do is tell you how to do the thing that I freaking hired you for. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? Okay. What are we doing here? Also, I shouldn't have to tell you what the next thing is, right? And again, this doesn't mean that we're not leading our people. This doesn't mean that we're not training our people. What I'm essentially saying is, if I have to tell you how to take initiative, you're probably not going to last here. You're just not. If you waiting on me to tell you what the next thing to do is, you're probably not going to last here. It's just a matter of time before you're out of here. Okay, so there's that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4. Now let's go to number 5. Okay, number 5. We love our clients and always provide world-class customer service. Okay, that's our 5th core value. Okay, we love our clients and we always provide world-class customer service. We have a 99% conversion rate on our, not conversion rate, but a rating on our support desk. And we have served, let me see how many tickets we've serviced. Let's see, how many tickets have we serviced? Give me 1 second. I'm looking at our help desk. Okay. How many tickets have we done? Do it show us? Let me look at my analytics. Okay, so globally, let's see, all time, let's see. Let me just do last year for an example, okay? So last year, we answered 174 tickets with 100% success rate, meaning every person who interacted with our support desk that rated gave us a thumbs up. Then this year, okay, we had 100% customer satisfaction, okay? We don't play when it comes to customer service. I feel like customer service is such a lost art, especially with small business owners. Okay. I feel like customer service is such a lost art, especially for small business owners. It is so many people who are ungrateful. Have you ever did business with somebody and they act like you doing them a solid? And you like, whoa, buddy, I'm the customer, right? And I'm not talking about the whole, the customer is always right stuff. But what I am saying is you need to be grateful for the fact that somebody is exchanging money with your company. If I come to your website and I buy something from you, you need to respect me. Okay. You need to respect and honor me as your client. And so we have that same thought. And you got to keep in mind too, I've worked a lot of places where I was a flight attendant. I worked in customer service. I've always had public facing jobs. And so customer service is what makes people come back to your business. Customer service is what makes people refer you business. And customer service is what keeps you in business. A lot of people are literally killing their businesses because they do not have any respect for the people who do business with them. I don't care how annoying a client is. I don't care how annoying a person is. If someone is exchanging money with your company, you should show them respect. And so we're really, really big on customer service here at UnCloned. And, that's our core value. We love our clients and always provide world-class customer service. Okay. I can't stand if a team member is taking forever to respond. Like above all things, I'm always saying, do not keep the client waiting. Today is Saturday. We had 2 people email us. I immediately replied back to them. Boom, 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 boom. Sent out. The next person, boom, 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 boom. Sent out. Okay. So there's that. Okay. The next one is, this is our next core value, is we are a team, all hands on deck. Okay. We are a team, all hands on deck. A lot of people work a job because they only want to do their role. Okay. A lot of people want to come to work, do their role. Don't ask me to do anything else. Okay. This is my role. If I'm the customer service manager, if you need help with coaching, don't ask me to do that because that ain't my job. We don't hire people with the that ain't my job mentality. So if you are one of those people who just like, I just want to work here and I only want to do my role, don't ask me to do something else. It's just a matter of time before you out of here. We do not do roles. Yes, you may be hired to do a particular role, but if we need you in the organization, we're going to ask you to support us in that way. And so it's all hands on deck. Okay. So that means no ego, no silos. And we're also very collaborative as an organization. Okay. The next thing. Okay. And this is huge. We love to learn and we embrace all opportunities to learn. I do not want any team member who think that they are above training and reading. Okay. If you think that like, oh, I did my training when I first got hired, I don't need no more continued education. What? I read 3 books this week. Okay? 3 books. I read 3 books this week. This week. So if you think that you're going to work here and you're not going to watch a course, you're not going to read a book, you're not going to learn anything, it's just a matter of time before you're out of here. So that is our core values. That's why they exist. So I'm going to do a recap for anyone who may have joined late. So we believe, think, and live uncloned. We strive to do it right the first time with excellence. We are on time and never late. We are self-starting and take initiative. We love our clients and always provide world-class customer service. We are a team, all hands on deck, and we love to learn and embrace all opportunities to learn. So I believe that when you are clear as the CEO of your company, when you are clear about the vision and why you exist and where you're heading, it makes everything else in your business easy. Waking up and knowing what you're going to be doing as a company, knowing what type of content strategy you need to have, knowing what type of media platforms that you need to be on, being very intentional about who needs to be on the team and who needs to be removed from the team. Okay. So again, this is our 17-page 3 to 5 year vision on where we're going in the next 3 years. And so get the book Vivid Vision so you can create your vivid vision for your company. And another book I recommend is Teamwork by Natalie Dawson. All right. I know this was a pretty long live stream. And I also know this is a boring conversation. Most people want to talk about, sorry about that, y'all. On Instagram. I dropped my Instagram people. But I'm very, very big on talking about the boring stuff now. I know this is not the most sexiest topic, but it is the thing that drives everything. Okay. It is the thing that drives everything. If you get clear on where you're heading for the next 2 to 5 years, I promise you everything else will start to unlock and you will begin to have clarity that you have been praying for. All right. So that's all I wanted to talk about today. I'm not going to make an offer today. I just want you all to know that like having a vision and being the CEO of your company is so crucial. Okay. So hopefully you are a part of our UnCloned community on school. Let me know your biggest takeaway inside the school community. If you are a part of the community, I really appreciate your time. And until next time, y'all, let's go live an uncloned life and build an uncloned brand. Bye, y'all.